At some point during the run-up to this last election, the culture changed. Americans were sick of being defined by political correctness, equity, and insane policies. The pendulum swung back, and Trump nostalgia set in. After Democrats showed us just how insane they had gotten, Republicans finally went to work on the greatest threats to this country, the real threats that we face. The left's takeover of so many of our institutions, and to save our culture. And what they've done to our media is finally getting dealt with as well. The media, probably the most important of the things that the left has taken over. Left-wing propagandist Stephen Colbert is out at CBS. You know that story now. And last night he showed us all exactly why and reminded us just how important what's happening right now really is. Colbert is supposed to be a comedy host for CBS. That is a very mainstream thing. Be funny at a broadcast network called CBS. That's the design of what Stephen Colbert is supposed to be. But he has become so partisan and so awful during his 10 years at CBS that last night he told the President of the United States to go F himself and then threatened the company that has bleeded millions of dollars on him for years as he pushed propaganda instead of jokes. Take a listen.
Over the weekend, it sunk in that they're killing off our show. But they made one mistake. They left me alive. And now for the next 10 months, the gloves are off. On Friday, Donald Trump posted, "I absolutely love that Colbert got fired." How dare you, sir? Would an untalented man be able to compose the following satirical witticism? Go yourself.
CBS paid him $15 million a year to spew his personal propaganda and drive mainstream Americans toward an increasingly dangerous Democrat Party that he loves, which has nothing but contempt for most of them. That's the truth. And last night, he just put it all out on display. CBS lost a fortune on Colbert for years. He is a terrible investment. But that's not why he was fired, not now. He was fired because the Trump lawsuit was a wake-up call, showing the executives at Paramount just how radicalized their broadcast network had become. Just before the election, 60 Minutes edited Kamala's answer in a desperate attempt to make Kamala Harris seem competent enough to run the entire country. 60 Minutes did that. That is not fake news. This is not manufactured by Trump. That's what they did. That is insane if you know the history of 60 Minutes. They did that a couple of weeks before the election. The reputation of the network is absolutely in the toilet, and there's a reason. And this is the chance to bring the network of 60 Minutes back to the center, back to credible. And the left is furious that this is happening because it's been their work that has corrupted these networks so much so. Remember, they have to control education, media, Hollywood, science. They have to control everything, and they still lose a good amount of the time. Think about that. What do conservatives control in this country anymore? Nothing. And yet they sometimes win. If their grip on our institutions goes, if Americans start consuming things that aren't full of their propaganda, they are in trouble. Here's how furious Daily Show host Jon Stewart is at CBS. He works for Comedy Central. He's so mad about this because he sees what this means too. For finally ending this nonsense, he's so furious at CBS. 10 years of its Late Show being essentially a therapy session for the radical left. Here's how Jon Stewart put it.
I've got but one thing to say. Just one little phrase. You tell them. Go yourself. Wait, bring it down. Let's bring it down. Let it be quiet. Yourself. Just go yourself. Everybody.
How many comedy hosts on television disagree with his politics? He's so angry, right? He can't have, a world where not every single Late Show host agrees with him politically? Go F yourself to the network for doing this? In the crowd for Colbert's show last night, literally every other late night host except Kimmel was there. And they even threw in Anderson Cooper for some reason. Kimmel's the furthest to the left. He's the only one that wasn't there. Look, this is a reminder right here of how uniform the politics are of the people who feed us our information. They're all in cahoots over this, a reminder of just how bad it is. They're proving exactly why Colbert was ended. This is exactly why Colbert had to go. There we go. Kimmel needs to go too. The View needs to go. Replaced by a show that represents both sides and doesn't exist to bully one side out of existence, which is what it is. And as the corrupt media suffers through this much-needed realignment, the Democrat Party takes a separate blow from the perpetual liability known as Hunter Biden, which is the other really entertaining story this week. The black sheep who scored millions selling his father's power and blew it on cocaine and hookers is furious as he embarks on the rest of his life completely broke, with no options, with no hope. For 3 hours, Hunter assailed the party that he says abandoned his father after that horrific debate.
You know what George Clooney did? Because he sat down, I guess, because he was like given a blessing by the Obama team or the Obama people and whoever else, and David Axelrod and whoever the else. You, what do you have to do with anything? Why do I have to listen to you? What right do you have to step on a man who's given 52 years of his life to the service of this country? We are going to insert our judgment over yours. Me and James Carville, who hasn't run a race in 40 years, and David Axelrod, who had one success in his political life, and that was Barack Obama, and the Pod Save America guys, who were junior speechwriters in, on Barack Obama's Senate staff, who have been dining out on the relationship with him for years.
He just scorched the entire party, sat there for 3 hours. He slammed basic, decent immigration enforcement as well after his father invited the entire world to come into our country, complaining that we need those people to clean our toilets. He then essentially taught the audience how to make crack cocaine and then claimed it's less dangerous than alcohol. It's a bold claim. We're fairly certain he wasn't asked about his affair with Bo's wife, which almost certainly started before his brother finally passed away. After wasting a fortune with no other lifelines, Hunter Biden is pardoned now, a pardon that is retroactive, which we never really knew was possible. But he's also broke, and he's hopeless. And he's probably terrified. And he also missed out on the most profitable years of selling power, which are the last four, the four that Joe Biden's supposed to be in right now, when there's no re-election to worry about, and he could have really gotten rich. You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt tonight on Newsmax.